What are the wholesaling laws in Pennsylvania? Conceptually, the term real estate wholesaling does not have a precise or consistent legal definition, and all too often, one's perception of wholesaling has stark differences, depending on who you ask. To legally wholesale properties in Pennsylvania, an investor must choose to act in a manner that would meet the Pennsylvania definition of a real estate broker as follows. Broker, an individual or entity holding either a standard or reciprocal license, that for another, and for a fee, commission, or other valuable consideration, does one or more of the following. 1. Negotiates with or aids a person in locating or obtaining for purchase, lease, or acquisition of interest in real estate. 2. Negotiates the listing, sale, purchase, exchange, lease, timeshare, and similarly designated interests, financing, or option for real estate. 3. Manages real estate. 4. Represents himself or itself as a real estate consultant, counselor, or house finder. 5. Undertakes to promote the sale, exchange, purchase, or rental of real estate. This subparagraph does not apply to an individual or entity whose main business is that of advertising, promotion, or public relations. 6. Undertakes to perform a comparative market analysis. 7. Attempts to perform one of the actions listed in subparagraphs. V. Source: Pennsylvania Code. There is no specific legislation in Pennsylvania, except in the legal boundaries of the city of Philadelphia. This is discussed in detail in the section below. How do I legally wholesale in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania law, across the state but independent of the real estate in Philadelphia, requires the appropriate licensing of individuals who are involved in the purchase, sale, exchange of real estate as primary or investment property. However, this licensing requirement does not apply to those who are real estate investing or selling their own properties, even if the ownership is for an hour or a day. Is there a license for wholesaling in Pennsylvania? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's rules for real estate wholesaling. According to the City of Philadelphia. Source: City of Philadelphia. The exact definition, according to Chapter 95201, of a residential property wholesaler is as follows. Source: Philadelphia Code Chapter 95201-5. However, a real estate wholesaler's license is not required under these scenarios. A public employee/official that is performing official business, a Pennsylvania licensed attorney, or a licensed real estate professional acting within the confines of the scope of the PA license, a buyer who has the intention of renting the property, an investor who purchases a property with the intention of making improvements to increase its value. The city provides an online real estate wholesaler application, plus requires the following to remain compliant with the residential property wholesaler license limits and conditions. Source: RPWLC limits and conditions. Disclosure requirements, Philadelphia SS 95205. For the residential property wholesaler license include the following. Homeowners must sign the disclosure as evidence they were given the disclosure as required. Wholesalers are required to disclose to homeowners, at least 3 days before the offer is present, how to access resources to help determine the property's fair market value, including the city's Property Assessment Office's website, plus any private tools that may be suggested by the administrative agency. Disclaimers are not permitted. Wholesalers are required to inform homeowners of their option to seek help by employing a licensed real estate agent, seek legal counsel, seek any other options deemed appropriate. Additionally, the wholesaler must provide evidence, by way of a certificate of insurance, for general liability, with a $1 million minimum for each occurrence. Also, this includes multifamily and mixed-use buildings. The consequences and penalties of violating this Philadelphia real estate wholesaling law are significant. If a wholesaler enters into an agreement of sale prior to being licensed and solicits business, SS 952-014, this agreement may be rescinded at any time before the title transfers, at the solitary option of the seller/homeowner. Any violation is considered a Class IE offense with penalties set forth by Philadelphia Code 1-109. Do you need a real estate license to wholesale in Pennsylvania? The qualified answer is no. However, a license would not be required if Your actions do not rise to the level of that which defines a required real estate license in Pennsylvania. Your business is within the City of Philadelphia as this jurisdiction. The Philadelphia City Council has set forth rules regarding real estate investment wholesalers. Remember that the key to selling your equitable interest in an executed contract, rather than the property, allows for investors to legally wholesale real estate. But note, you will violate license law if you operate as a real estate broker or work in Philadelphia. To legally wholesale properties in Pennsylvania, an investor must choose to act in a manner that would meet the Pennsylvania definition of a real estate broker as follows. Source: PA Code Definitions, SS 35.201 Definitions. Real estate wholesalers can successfully navigate a wholesale real estate deal in Pennsylvania without a license. However, many wholesalers recognize that there may be advantages to obtaining a real estate license in the Keystone State. You are encouraged to seek legal advice from a licensed attorney in a Pennsylvania law firm in this matter to help you weigh the benefits and costs. The primary state agency responsible for administering and monitoring real estate licensing and activity in the state is the Real Estate Commission, housed in the Pennsylvania Department of State's DOS Professional Licensing Division. The DOS is responsible for the administration and maintenance of the working real estate professionals in Pennsylvania. Is co-wholesaling real estate legal in Pennsylvania? Co-wholesaling refers to real estate wholesaling as a team effort and is, therefore, legal if the participant investors stay within Pennsylvania's legal limits. The co-wholesaling transaction can be a one-time deal or be one of many in an ongoing joint venture through an executed joint venture agreement. It is critical that a joint venture partner be vetted to ensure you proactively protect your legal interest until the wholesale deal closes. A co-wholesaling partnership is often a great way to close a real estate wholesale deal quickly because the existing relationship often brings two talents, a wholesaler who finds the property and another with a list of qualified end buyers. If executed properly or outside the city of Philadelphia, co-wholesaling is a legal practice. Is reverse wholesaling real estate legal in Pennsylvania? The concept of reverse wholesaling is also a legal real estate strategy if, like co-wholesaling, investors do not perform or act in a way that would require a real estate license. The reverse wholesaling is outside Philadelphia city limits. The primary difference between traditional wholesaling and reverse wholesaling is that the order in which the transaction steps are typically taken is reversed. So instead of finding a property and then looking for a buyer who may want to buy it, a real estate wholesaler first has an end buyer and then looks for a property that meets their needs. There are several viable exit strategies for Pennsylvania's reverse real estate wholesalers. They can execute a buy and sell exit strategy. They can execute a double closing, which refers to the process where the wholesaler buys and sells the same property on the same day, maybe even back-to-back closing. But remember, a double close can be more expensive as two closings mean two sets of closing fees. The reverse wholesaling strategy generates a variety of benefits real estate wholesalers in Pennsylvania, not in Philly, from Lancaster to Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, as follows. It allows for the facilitation and building of long-term relationships with financial partners, ultimately streamlining the funding portion of a wholesale transaction. Builds long-term relationships with cash buyers and other investors with a serious interest in purchasing real estate in Pennsylvania. Final thoughts. Real estate wholesalers in Pennsylvania, independent of the regulations established in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, can legally wholesale real estate if they avoid overstepping legal boundaries set forth by Pennsylvania license law. To stay within legal limits, real estate wholesalers should follow these practical and proven transactional strategies. Always be completely transparent and appropriately disclose your role and intentions in the real estate transaction. Disclose assignment fee and other relevant issues. Be certain that you, as a buyer, have a unilateral right to assign your equitable rights as a party to a legal contract of sale. Make sure relevant contingency provisions are written in clear, concise language that manages the expectations of all parties to the real estate deal. Wholesaling real estate is a viable investment strategy and legal in Pennsylvania without a license, outside of Philadelphia, if the wholesaler stays within the legal lanes and guidelines established by Pennsylvania lawmakers.